I got started in officiating really because of my next door neighbor, Hut Thomas, who was an official on the high school level. And he called some college ball as well, but I always watched sports on TV, and then when I saw him in his uniform, I just got intrigued in officiating, and so I started officiating in the subdivision. And so that's how I really got started. And then when I got to Jacksonville State, I took an intramural course, and in that intramural course, I officiated intramural games, which is by far, to me, is the most difficult officiating that you can do, is to call intramurals, because you're with your peers and you make a call and then you see them in class the next day and they remember it. And then I also registered with the local association while I was working at Jacksonville State as a manager of the basketball team. And Coach Jones allowed me to leave practices early to go officiate games, and I was able to do that. And then it built on from there. It's difficult to come up with the most memorable experience because there's so many great times that you had in officiating. A memory with Glenn Hawkins, who's also being inducted, traveling to a game down in south of Anniston. It was about an hour drive to get to the game. We were running late, and he's the assigner, and we always met at this certain place, and he would check to make sure all the games were covered before we left. And he was driving, and we were just running behind. And Glenn Hawkins was known, when he drove places, to only hitting the high spots like it was. But we were going around some curves on a 2-lane road and passing cars that I really wanted to climb underneath the seat and just pray that we made it to the game. I was so worn out by the drive when we finally got to the game. I was just glad to get back home that night. What gave me gratification in officiating is being able to be a part of the game and allow kids the opportunity to play under a fair set of circumstances, and officiating is what provides that. And being able to see the great players come through. For instance, Cadillac Williams, I was able to officiate his games, and watching him run was spectacular, being down on the field with him. The camaraderie of the officials at the meetings, on the way to the game, at the game, the fellowship after the game, being able to teach an officiating course at Jacksonville State and seeing the officials that advance from that officiating course. People that have been through that course have gone on to the NBA, the NFL, Division I college basketball, and watching their success is a great memory. There's so many people that influenced my officiating career. I remember watching, as I mentioned earlier, as what got me started in officiating was watching games, is watching the professionals on TV, Jim Tunney, Tommy Bell in the NFL, Reggie Copeland in basketball, and then on the college level, Steve Shaw and Dick Burleson. But as far as direct influence, I'd have to mention Glenn Hawkins, for fear of leaving out somebody else. Since Glenn Hawkins is going into the class, I'll mention his name. One of the great things that I remember about Glenn Hawkins is that he made the statement that he's never called a technical foul, but he's administered a lot of them, which basically is saying don't take it personally. As far as family goes, I guess I would go back to my childhood days of officiating and officiating a game, and my older brother was in the game, and he didn't like one of the calls that I made during the game, and so he went inside the house and asked my dad, or our dad, if had to listen to me. And he said, yes, he's the referee. And having that kind of support from family is great, and I've been blessed to have a great family that has supported me in this career throughout my life. The only unfortunate thing about it is whatever game's being played on TV, I get a phone call from them, why did the ref call that? The best advice to give a first-year official is to stay humble, be patient, be a sponge. Learn from everyone. Don't don't just have one mentor or one person. Watch as many officials that you can at all levels and learn and develop your own philosophy in the way that you officiate, but definitely knowing the rules. But as a young official, don't let anybody know that you know all the rules. You can't afford to be banned and looked down upon from the older officials as a young official. Learn the rules, know the rules, be able to apply the rules when necessary, but don't ever let on that you know more than your partners know. Being honored with the selection to the Hall of Fame is, wow. It's hard to describe. It's just a tremendous honor in a career that I've had in officiating and love for officiating that I've had throughout my life. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to work in the profession and get paid for what I love to do. So being recognized by my peers to do that is great.